Hello, Vivienne. Thank you very much to have this interview. We are in Berkeley University, and you are a scientist, a neuroscientist here. So you have great research about survey and about how we can find to have perhaps a better life. Can you speak about your research?
Absolutely. My work looks at what really predicts how we make better people, how people can have better long-term life outcomes in terms of wealth, in terms of happiness, health outcomes, looking at little kids and families, looking at workers inside of companies. I have never found a problem that I wasn't interested in trying to figure out what it was that drove the best possible outcomes for the people involved.
So you have found constructs that are very important in the life. What are these constructs?
So we wrote a paper about this. We call them meta-learning constructs, and there are quite a few of them. What we did was we looked at these massive data sets, 122 million people, and we looked to see what actually predicted the best employees, the best work, the best long-term career outcomes. And what we found over and over again, that it wasn't grades, it wasn't the university you went to, it wasn't the specific skills in terms of whether you knew how to program or you knew how to sell. None of that was really meaningfully predictive. Sometimes really shockingly so. The best schools in the world were only a little bit of an added benefit. What we found was that there's these meta-learning qualities. It was things like general cognitive ability, your ability, your attention, your memory, your language skills, metacognition, your ability to self-assess, to think strategically, plan for the future, social skills, perspective taking, even low-level social skills, my ability to recognize your facial expressions, my ability to understand the idea that someone else has a mind of their own, creativity, lateral thinking, divergent thinking, creativity itself, fascinating construct. It applies across the board to everyone, not just people working in creative domains, everyone. And social skills. Oh, so I already mentioned, social skills. That's fascinating also. I mean, just as predictive for engineers as it is for salespeople. The last one is emotional intelligence. So, and that's one of the most fascinating. But what we see is if I was given a random group of people, whether they were 4 years old or 40 years old, whether they came from poor backgrounds or wealthy backgrounds, if I knew these qualities about them, I could give you strong predictions about the directions of their life.
And you speak about the will, the power of the will. What does it mean?
So I mentioned this idea of emotional intelligence and its strong predictive quality, and some of the specifics, so those are just really broad, big ways of talking about it. Some of the specifics of emotional intelligence, endogenous motivation, purpose, some very geeky language, belief-based utility. It turns out if you can go to someone and change their belief that their hard work will pay off in their life, you can change everything about them. And that is a powerful discovery. Both that it is possible to change these things, so that if I were a boss, a manager, or a teacher, or a parent, that the people in my life I could make better by helping them improve their motivation, improve their belief that their hard work will pay off, but also that it has these profound impacts, that when you rob someone of the power of these beliefs, you really are robbing them of their future. That we see again and again that people with these strong beliefs, this will, as you put it, have dramatically different outcomes. It's not about whether they knew how to program or whether they knew how to do financial accounting. It is ultimately about whether they believed in what they were doing.
Thank you for this tip. The power of beliefs is crucial. And to conclude, what is your opinion, the difference between the artificial intelligence and the augmented intelligence? What kind of behavior can we have if we want to be adapted to the world?
Yeah, so I think we have a very big choice in front of us. As artificial intelligence, not a new idea, but a transformative one in the world today, as it becomes a technology that sort of pervades everyday life, that we have this choice. Do we use it to substitute for what we can already do? Or do we use it to make us better? On the one hand, it could be that we hire less qualified people to do the same jobs that we used to only send people to university to train for. Because now the AI will do it for us, and I just don't need an expensive, highly qualified person. On the other hand, we imagine what it is such a creative person could do if at their fingertips they had the power of the most powerful machine intelligence. And we call that augmented intelligence, the best merging of what machine and natural human intelligence could accomplish. And it's a big, profound question, because when you start substituting for people, when you do what they can do themselves, I believe that you rob people of who they are in a pretty fundamental way. When on the other hand, we talk about augmentation, we're talking about transforming people and taking them to a completely new place. And for me, that boils down to a very simple story that isn't just about AI. And that story is perhaps most simply put in the idea that technology should always challenge us. We shouldn't just be better when we're using technology. We should be better than where we started when we turn it off.
Thank you very much, Vivienne. Thank you for this great interview. And we will be very pleased to read your book. I think next year we can have a book. Do you know the title, perhaps?
I got a couple of books coming out, and one is How to Robot-Proof Your Kids, and the other is The Tax on Being Different.
So thank you so much, and we are very eager to read them. Thank you.
Thank you.